Finally! Thought as I stepped into my new home for the first time. My first house. Finally out of the apartments off Main. I said out loud as I walked around the living room. It was a long road to get here, but it's finally mine. I thought back to the smell of weed that would leak into my room from my neighbors. My parents always thought it was mine when they came over, no matter how many times I told them it wasn't. As I walked around the empty living room and dining room, I heard the voice of my father. "Well, well, living in the high life now, huh?" I turned and saw my portly father, who had glasses that almost seemed too small for his head. "Look at this place," he exclaimed and put his hand on my shoulder, even though it was a little hard to reach. "You did well. Wish I bought this place myself." "Well, I'm not selling it yet. Maybe in a few years." We both laughed and continued the tour throughout the house, looking at all the rooms and just relishing in how lucky I was for getting a house so nice and cheap. Then we made our way to the basement, which was odd. There wasn't a basement that I could remember. There was a long staircase leading down to a bright blue door with a symbol of what appeared to be a smiling mouth. "What's down there?" my dad asked. "I'm not sure. I don't remember there even being a basement in the first place." "Well, more space, I guess. Not a bad thing, right?" my dad said while walking down the stairs towards the door. I felt something off about the door. It looked freshly painted, like it had just been installed. The smile on the door was a deep red metal. My dad went up to the door and jiggled the handle. Locked," he said. "Realtor give you a key?" "No, I don't think so." I looked at my new key ring, and there was a new key that wasn't there before. Next to the modern-looking keys was an old-fashioned one, a bronze key with the same symbol that was on the door. "Dad, something feels weird. This wasn't here before." "Oh, come on. Probably just don't remember the realtor showing you the door." He then proceeded to grab the keys from my hand and went for the door. "Dad, wait!" I yelled, but he had already turned the lock and opened the door. The door swung open to reveal a mostly empty room. All that sat in the room was a lone chair in the center, and a string to turn on the light. But the light was already on. Nothing in here," my dad said while putting the keys back into my hand and walking back upstairs. I looked at the strange room. There was something about it that I really didn't like. I quickly closed the door and locked it back up tight. I took a deep breath and went back upstairs, where my dad was waiting by the front door. "Well, I'm gonna go on home. Proud of you, son," my dad said while putting on his jacket. "But we made plans for dinner," I said, confused. "We never even spoke about that," he said with a chuckle. "You feeling all right?" he said, sounding concerned. "I'm fine." "Well, enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to start putting my room together." "All right, son." "Hope the voices aren't too loud tonight," he said with a smile. "What did you say?" I asked, feeling a chill down my spine. "I said don't let the bedbugs bite. You sure you're all right?" he said, putting his hand on my shoulder. I thought to myself for a second, calming myself down, and took a deep breath. "I'm fine. Just the stress of getting the house, I think," I said with a slight smile. "All right, well, call if you need anything." He began walking away towards his car, waving at me, and I waved back. Once the car turned the corner and was out of sight, I closed the door and put my back against it with a heavy sigh. "Whew, just breathe, Jeff. It's just stress. Let's get to work and not think about what you thought you heard." With that, I began unpacking my boxes and filling my new home with furniture and bringing a new life into it. After a week of living in my new home, I felt content. Moving in was all done. My home was immaculate. 2 extra rooms, a personal office, and my master bedroom. Life couldn't be better. I sat in the kitchen on a bright and early Saturday morning with coffee in hand and the TV on, catching up on shows I've been meaning to watch. "Jeffrey." A voice pierced into my mind, past the sound of the TV. I stopped as I felt a tingle. I paused the show I was watching and looked around. "Hello?" I called out, almost too afraid to move. "Someone there?" I called out again. I shook my head and resumed the show, thinking that once again it was in my head. The day went on as normal. After that, I finished watching TV, decided to do a little work, go for a walk. The whole time I felt something, I don't know, but something was there behind me, watching me. When I went to bed, I really began to feel it. Like eyes were all around me, and no matter how far under the covers I went, they could still see me. Jeff. It was the same voice, calling me, beckoning me. I peered over the covers slowly. Nothing. No one was there. Jeff! It screamed and pierced my ears over and over again, and all I could do was hug my pillow. The voice was everywhere and nowhere at the same time. It came from nothing but filled every ounce of the space around me. This lasted for hours. I did not sleep. I don't even know if I blinked. I just heard the voice screaming like children asking for their father, and finally, not able to take it anymore, I sat up and yelled back, "What do you want?" And with that, all the voices stopped. I was stunned, confused, relieved. Then the response came. Laughter, like children who had just pulled a prank, and that was it. Nothing more for the rest of the night. Sleep still did not come. No matter how tired I was, I just stared out the window into the starless night. The next morning, I was akin to a zombie. Coffee was the only brains that I was after. I made a large pot of the stuff and sat at my kitchen table, rubbing my eyes and quickly gulping the awakening elixir, hoping of waking me up. It didn't work. The door. The voices came once again to instill more fear and paranoia again. But at least it wasn't my name this time. I did nothing, trying to ignore it like I did last night. They continued to say it again.
The door.
And again.
The door.
What door? I asked, hoping for it to stop. Open the door, it replied. Then the doorbell rang. I jumped, splashing coffee all over myself, burning my skin. I yelped in pain and began to walk over to the door. I heard the voices chuckle. "Shut up, assholes," I said as I got up to the door and opened it. It was my mother. Her hair was up in a tight bun and her glasses hanging on her face. She gave me a nice warm smile. "Hi, sweetie," she said as I swung the door open and gave me a big hug, but quickly let go as she felt the coffee that was spilled all over me. "Oh, what happened?" she said, looking at my shirt. Then she looked up at my face. "Oh dear, you look awful," she said while putting her hand over her mouth. "Good to see you too, Mom," I said with a smile and moved out of the way of the door to let her in. She walked and began to look around, properly judging the house. "Everything looks good," she said with a smile, turning back to me. "Well, almost everything." "Ha ha," I said while closing the door, beginning to walk upstairs. "Let me change shirts. I'll be right back." I walked into my room, took off my shirt, and threw it in the corner. "Cut them," the voices said. I froze. Another command. Cut what? Cut who? Doesn't matter because I'm not cutting anyone or anything. I quickly put on a shirt and walked downstairs to see my mother inspecting under my couch. "All good, Mom?" I asked, a little confused. She quickly sat up. "All good, just making sure that you're cleaning absolutely everything," she said as she stood up. "Stab them," the voices said again. I clenched my fists. "Is that the only reason you came over? To make sure I knew how to clean my house?" I said, walking over. She chuckled. "Of course not." She sat down on the couch and ushered me to sit down as well. "The family wants to get together and have a nice meal. I know that you don't exactly have a big enough table for everyone, but I was just going to have your father bring over ours. We also want to celebrate your beautiful new home." She continued talking, but all I could hear were the voices. "Stab her, gut her, slit her throat, watch her bleed." I just clenched my fists, smiled, and nodded. "What do you think? Would that be all right?" I sighed. I don't know, Mom. I just moved in, and I got plenty to do." "Hon, you don't have to do anything. I'll take care of it all right?" She smiled and put her hand on my knee. With a deep and heavy sigh, I gave in. She told me that they would be setting up on Saturday, which was 2 days from now. She said she would handle everything and come over early on Saturday to make sure everything was ready. I agreed, and she left for the day. And once I knew she was clear out of view of hearing range, I let out a scream. "Shut up!" All the voices stopped in unison. I started to cry, and I fell to my knees. Clutching my head, the voices won't stop. They're so loud, so demanding. What do I do? I paused. I heard laughing, but not from the voices. It was me. What about any of this was funny? Why can't I stop laughing? Shut up, shut up, shut up! I said to myself, slapping my cheeks. I quickly got up and made my way to the bathroom. Looking in the mirror, I saw what I didn't feel. A smile looking back at me while tears streamed down my face. I closed my eyes. Maybe it was the lack of sleep. Yeah, that could be it. I opened them. No smile. I breathed a sigh of relief and turned the faucet on to splash some water in my face. I just need to get some sleep, and all will be well. The next couple of nights were hell. The voices were screaming my name throughout the night, no matter how many times I told them to stop. They laughed whenever I begged for the anguish to stop, and when they laughed, I found myself laughing as well. The voices influenced my subconscious mind and made me do things I didn't want to do. Friday morning, I woke up in the kitchen, destroying family photos, cutting out the eyes, the kind of creepy serial killer shit you'd see on TV. When I woke up doing this, I told myself enough was enough. I went to the door that led to the basement, and nothing was there. It's just a wall. I checked my keys, no keys with that stupid smile symbol. I started tapping the wall. Maybe it was hidden. No, it was right here. Where is it? I punched the wall in anger and began to sob. The voices laughed once again, amused at my suffering. I just want sleep. Sleep? Sleep is for the sane. Relish in your madness. Please, let me sleep, I said, falling against the wall, and started to close my eyes, and drifted to sleep. It took me into its warm embrace, but my dreams were nightmarish. Murder and slaughter. I saw myself murdering my whole family, enjoying their pain, enjoying the light leaving their eyes. I even saw myself drink their blood. It was horrifying. But it all ended when I heard the doorbell ring, and I jumped in a fright and a cold sweat. I was breathing heavily, and I could feel the blood pumping and rushing through me. Still felt like I hadn't gotten any sleep. There is no rest, no solace, no sanity. The doorbell rang again, and I got up to answer it. I rubbed my eyes and put on a big smile. I answered the door, and it was my parents. They had the table with them, ready to set up. At first, my mom had a smile on her face that quickly turned into a look of worry. "Oh, God." She looked at me up and down. "What happened?" she said, putting her hand on my face. I pushed it away. "I'm fine. Sleeping has just been a little hard," I say while turning away. "Wait for them," the voices said. I felt anticipation and excitement. I will not indulge them. I turned and looked towards them. "I'll be fine, okay?" I said, giving her a half-hearted smile. She did not look reassured. "Why not? I'm fine!" "Well, okay, honey. Why don't you go upstairs and take a shower and freshen up? We'll take care of everything down here," she said, looking nervous. "Nervous about what? I'm fine!" I nodded and went upstairs, clenching my fists. Why am I clenching my fists? Why am I angry? I need to relax. I took a deep breath, and went to my room and closed the door. "They are coming," the voices said, getting excited. "Shut the hell up," I said through gritted teeth. I took off my clothes, went to the bathroom, and turned on the water. I waited for it to warm up before stepping in, and when I did, I felt such relief. The warm water relaxed my tense muscles and gently washed over me. "Ready for fun?" "Yeah," they asked, the anticipation building. "No, not the kind of fun you want," I said while turning off the water and putting on a towel. There was a knock on my bedroom door. Honey, are you okay? It was my mom. I heard you talking to someone. Who? How'd she know? I was quiet. Was she spying on me? She needs to mind her own damn business. I'm fine. Just talking to myself. Need to wake up a little is all. I said, sounding more angry than I meant to. Oh, all right. Come on down. Everyone has arrived, she said with some excitement in her voice. Everyone's here? It's only been 20 minutes, right? I looked up at the clock and it was 4 p.m. It's been 6 hours. I looked down at my hands and they were pruny like I had been in a pool or the sea all day. I shook my head and took another deep breath. Kill them, stab them, drink them. The voices pierced through and gave me a headache. I found myself hitting myself in the head when I realized. I stopped and just looked at my hands. They were shaking uncontrollably. Just breathe, man. Just one night. Keep your cool. I smiled and went downstairs, and my family was all there to greet me, all cheering and raising glasses towards me as I walked downstairs. I waved to them, a little surprised, not expecting so many of my family to show up. I greeted them all, and they showed some of the same amount of worry as my mother. But I did my best to reassure them. That seemed to do nothing. They seemed almost scared by what I would say. Why? I'm just talking to them. Why are they scared? There's nothing wrong with me. I found myself at the head of the table. How did I get here? My sister was to my left, who gave me a warm smile, and my dad was to my right, who had his hand on mine. My mother was giving a speech of some kind, saying how proud she was of me, that no one could have expected me to get here so fast. Everyone raised their glasses to me. Now, kill them, stab them, got them! The voices cut through deep this time, and I grabbed my head, rocking back and forth. They kept repeating it over and over again. Everyone gathered around me, asked if I was okay, adding to the voices. I just wanted them to shut up. Shut up. Shut up. They'll just quit. They're all so loud. I need silence. I need peace.
I think we need to call for help.
Shut up.
Kill them.
Shut up.
Stab them.
He got louder. Everyone shut up! Then there was silence. Finally, peace. I opened my eyes to my worst nightmare. My family was mangled, dismantled, shredded, gutted. I stood over them, knife in hand. Blood covered my entire body. I could even taste it, the iron taste present in my mouth. Tasted good. I chuckled. Looking at my family, I felt nothing. I thought it was horror I felt, but it was just surprise. I felt nothing for their deaths, for the voices have stopped and I felt peace. I felt like I could sleep. Maybe. I just need more. Hello, everyone. That was Voices by me, PK Shannon, and edited by Andrew Thieker. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful night.